Victories.
Little victories like getting online
That's
when you
right.
want to.
Yeah, that. Yeah, that. Here we go. Hello, 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 hello.
One and all in one.
Hello, hello, hello. Hi, Frank. Hi, Frank.
Oh my
Hi,
goodness.
Christopher. Hello, Mr. Doug Jones, you magical, wonderful man. Let's see. Make sure everybody's working.
We live in a somewhat chaotic
How dare you?
household.
How dare you? It's perfect.
Hello, Florida. Thank you.
How dare you?
Um,
Hello, Florida.
and the normal, everyday level of chaos here has been expanded, enhanced.
You're gonna blame my child again, aren't
augmented. No, I'm not.
Gonna blame my child again, aren't you?
No, I'm not.
Gonna blame my baby.
I'm not going to blame.
You're going to blame an infant.
No, I'm not going to blame an infant. She's part of the normal every day now.
She is part of the normal every day.
Yeah, but I had surgery on my foot, on my toes.
On my foot, on the foot toes, which, if you recall, he already did not that long ago. I love doctors so much.
Anyway, a week ago Thursday had surgery.
Yes.
People said, well, was it successful? I don't know yet.
He still. My answer to that is he still has a foot, so
yes,
can't be that bad, right?
But I'm in a Frankenstein boot.
You are in a Frankenstein boot. You are that.
I have to keep my leg elevated.
Yep.
And
which is why this is one of the few times I'm going to let him be a little crooked and off, because the poor thing is trying to just deal with all of the craziness. So yeah. I accept you today for your slumpiness. So I love you anyway.
So generous.
Though you may slump.
And so a disproportionate amount of burden has fallen upon this one here.
You're fine.
You're fine. Raising a
chaos embodied.
Yeah.
Chaos embodied. I was just listening to an interview with Doug Drexler on his work on Star Trek and the Orville.
Okay.
There's, sometimes all the extras that people come up with for DVDs and stuff like that can feel like too much. Other times, it's fun and it's neat to sort of get a behind the scenes on things like that, which require so much work, so much effort. I keep repeating this because it's true. Remember that when you're watching a film and you get to the credits and you see all those names, those are all human beings. Those are all people. And if you think about how many names you're seeing, how many people there are, holy hell, a lot of people worked on these movies. Same with TV shows, you know, it's a lot.
Yep.
So that's why I continually say every movie that actually makes it into the world is a miracle. It's because it is. It is a miracle that it made it and that you're seeing it. And that's really, that's pretty wild to me.
Thanks, Gary. A shout out to my Cleveland, Ohio pal.
Yes.
And
yeah.
to Jenny and Larry, thank you.
Yeah. Frank is saying, I just got the new 4K transfers of the Christopher Reeves Superman films and they look good. Well, that's exciting.
It's nice to hear.
I know some people will be very excited to own that. Ludwig says, hi, Jesse. Hi, Leonard. Hello. And it has been more than a year since Peter Bogdanovich died. How are your feelings and thoughts for him today? I mean,
he was somebody that I had the good fortune to interview at Club TCM.
Yeah, that was nice.
Which is to say the Blossom Room of the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel, one of the first years of the TCM Classic Film Festival.
Yeah.
And I don't have a list of prepared questions when I do these things. And Peter is a great talker anyway. But I realized that it was going to be a half and half interview, and that half of it would be about John Ford and Howard Hawks and people that he knew and interviewed, really got to know well in some cases. And then it drifted into his films, The Last Picture Show and Paper Moon and films like that. We just rewatched some of What's Up, Doc yesterday. These are really good films.
I mean, the thing is, there are only so many people left at this point. Do you want something under your foot? You're lifting it in a way that would appear you would like
Well,
something
yeah,
under
I
it.
was thinking of dragging that sofa down.
Pull it. Give it a go.
I don't think I can do it.
You
No,
don't. Do you want me to do it?
No,
Would you like me to put something under forgive me. Do you want something under the foot? We have
if it's
pillows.
if it's
I'm
possible.
gonna just shove that under there. See if that helps at all.
Well, it all helps.
It all helps. There's another one there. This is the first time he's sitting here, so we haven't tried to finagle a comfortable way of doing this yet for him while he's in the boot. Better?
Better.
Better. Anyway, there are so few people who are still around
Yeah.
who worked with, firsthand worked with the greats. We'll call them the greats, right? How many people can say that they knew or worked with Charlie Chaplin at this point? Really, how many people are still around who can say that? Or Hitchcock, or had a conversation with Orson Welles, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so something about Peter Bogdanovich, he was a character, is a nice way to put it. He was a character, but he was always willing to talk about those things.
He was happy to talk about it.
For as much of an ego as he had. I'm teasing just because that is the way he was. He had a big ego, a very healthy ego. But he knew all these people, and where he could have been someone who said, well, I just want to talk about my films, he could very easily have been someone who said, you know what, I'm good, actually. I just want to talk about my movies. He was very willing to talk about all of the things, which I think is pretty incredible.
His incredible experiences.
Yeah.
Can
I help you?
I need help with everything right now.
It's okay.
I require help. Help.
That's why we're here. 1 second. No, Jerry, we're in the same positions. I'm always here. He's always there. This is the same. The reason we sit like this is because I'm right-handed and it allows me to scroll and do everything. Whereas if I was on that side, I'd have to reach across and it would be uncomfortable. I should mention that I was at a live podcast where Elvis was interviewing Lawrence Fishburne. That must have been fun. Anyway, yeah, I think that is probably, yes, one of the best things about Peter Bogdanovich, for all of, as I say, the ego of him, is that he was willing to talk about these kinds of folks and did so happily. And I think that it says a lot. No, Jerry, we're sitting on the same sides. We didn't trade. We're sitting exactly where we always sit. I promise. Mirror Universe Maltins. I don't know. Is one of the cameras flipping us around? Maybe one of the cameras is flipping us around. We're sitting exactly where we are. I promise. What have you done? I'm backwards. Multiple. Okay, which one? Okay, it would appear that YouTube is flipping us around. Maybe? I don't know, guys. Anyway,
it's miraculous that we're here doing this at all.
Yeah, right.
So we have no control over
anything at all in life.
Yeah.
Anything. Yeah. Instagram says we're the same and Twitter says we're the same. So I guess it's Restream. Maybe Restream flipped us around. I don't know. Well, the camera's flipped, my friends. I don't know why. We're backwards now. Do we look better backwards? Like, do I look more attractive flipped around?
Should I part my hair over here?
Exactly. Should you flip your part? Maybe you should. When I've told you guys this story before, but it's still just the funniest thing. Peter Bogdanovich came here to interview you
for his Buster Keaton documentary.
And he comes in and goes up to my dad's office. That's where they decided to shoot. And our dogs, who are very friendly. The fact you can talk to people around the world is cool to me. It's cool to us too, Christopher. Believe me when I tell you, this is great. But yeah, so Peter Bogdanovich is upstairs in your office with you, and Hercules in particular, our beloved Hercules, who is no longer with us, very friendly, and was trying to like jump into his lap and play with him. And Peter Bogdanovich, in his Peter Bogdanovich voice, looks down and goes, "Hello, dog." And it's just one of my favorite things that's ever happened, because I just thought that's the most perfect. He's not the kind of guy who's going to go, "Hey, puppy, how you doing?" It was just, "Hello, dog." Peter Bogdanovich. That was a lot of fun. You had a really good time that day.
Yes, I did.
You really
And
enjoyed
the
that.
film is a good one too.
Yeah, you really enjoyed that.
Did that for the Cohen Film Group.
Yeah, man, oh man. And that I guess that's several years ago.
Well, it is.
I have no sense of time. The only reason I
Well,
know
if
it's not
he's
that
got-
long is because it was in this house.
Right, but he's gone 1 year now. So,
Yeah, man.
yeah.
Where the hell does it go?
Yeah.
Anybody?
I got to do a group Zoom at the behest of Tom Sturges.
I was going to say a groom, but I don't like that.
Tom Sturges, Preston Sturges' son, was putting together a Zoom panel to discuss his father's brilliant comedy, The Lady Eve, for the Criterion Collection. And he wanted to know if I could put him in touch with Kenny Turan, then the senior film critic at the LA Times, since happily retired.
Happily retired, yes.
So I did that, and Kenny participated, as did Susan King, late of the LA Times, and James L. Brooks, and Ron Shelton, and
a lot of you. There were a lot of you.
And Peter.
Yeah, of course.
And Peter and me, and I'm forgetting somebody. And Tom himself, of course. And we all had just watched the film again the night before, and we're bathing in the afterglow of watching this wonderful, superbly written and performed movie. And it was just the enthusiasm that resulted.
Yeah,
made it a wonderful 6-way or 7-way conversation. That's the last time I talked to Peter or had any contact with Peter. I met him at the Museum of Modern Art in 1971.
Jesus.
1971? What? On the publication of his book about Alan Dwan. And he told me he was I introduced myself and all of that. And he recognized in me a kindred spirit. And he was very very generous to me in a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
After that, and
yeah.
So I have.
No, I say it's. I laugh because I first met Peter when I was very young, and he just didn't necessarily have time for young people. Let's say. As a kid, he was not, again, much like the way he greeted the dog is similar to how he greeted children. It was a very sort of like, hello, child. And then as I got older, and I guess I had more to say that would be of some interest to him, then he became friendlier. But as a kid, especially, it was always a running joke with us that I just was sort of there. I could have been the wallpaper. He did not really acknowledge my existence. But that's true. Mommy and I were talking about this. It's true of a lot of our friends who don't. A lot of our friends, as these terms have come lately, autistic or Asperger's or all these different kinds of things, a lot of our friends definitely have that. A lot of our friends, a lot of the people who are die hard for these kinds of things are some kind of what I lovingly call special. And so many of them don't quite know what to do with kids because they can't have the conversation they want to be having. So something about Tom Luddy is a similar, like, until I was older, he just didn't really talk to me because I don't think he knew what to talk to me about. And then when I was bigger, he could, I'll just talk about movies. That's what I talk about. So that's what we're going to talk about. Just interesting looking back at it now. CJ's asking how you're feeling. He's good, CJ. He's finally recovering. You are doing really well. We go to the doctor this coming week.
Wednesday.
And that'll be your first checkup since surgery.
And with luck, I'll get a less Frankenstein.
Yes, he'll get a smaller boot,
walking boot,
which will be lovely. It is funny. There's this little. I'm going to tell you this just because it's funny. So the boot he has on, you know how Air Jordans, one of their things was that you like pump it up. Remember those sneakers where you could pump them up and somehow I don't know what the hell they were supposed to have done, but it was a thing. His cast, I guess, is a newer kind of cast. So several of the people at the hospital, it was an outpatient surgery. Several different nurses came over to try to figure out how to make it work. And few things are funnier than watching 3 people, 4 people standing there going, It's a separate squeezy thing, and trying to get it into his boot. It's just technology, but not technology, and everyone being confused. And then that nurse trying to put you into a wheelchair that says "Do not use."
I don't remember
You
that.
don't remember that?
No.
This nice nurse who came over to you to put you into the wheelchair so we could take you home walked it over, and I laughed because there was a tag on it that said "Do not use." And I said it out loud, and she goes, "Oh, I didn't notice that." I said, "I didn't know if it was a joke or something. I don't know. I don't know what the humor is between nurses." And we went, "Oh, we should not put you in that." Yes, those boots are a nightmare to wear and use. They absolutely are.
Well,
But
I wouldn't call it a nightmare.
no, we've had worse.
No.
Your shoulder was worse.
Yeah.
By a long shot.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't recall, has a bionic shoulder now.
Yep.
That was terrible. I don't recommend it. If you don't have to have shoulder replacement surgery, don't have shoulder replacement surgery. This is my words of wisdom to you.
If you don't have surgery, period, don't have surgery.
Don't have
period.
surgery. Eric is asking, did you know Robert Carringer?
No, I did not.
Yes.
I'm an admirer of his work. This is a guy who did the most intensive studies of Citizen Kane and the Magnificent Ambersons in print.
Yes.
So I'm an admirer, but I never did get to meet him.
And then someone else is asking if you met Pauline Kael.
No, we had one.
Was she as terrifying and rude as her reputation would indicate, or was she nicer?
I received a telephone call from Pauline Kael one day. I was still living in New York, and she had the sweetest voice. I mean, it was striking.
Yeah.
What a lovely speaking voice she had. And she was calling me to talk about her great fondness for Harry Ritz of the Ritz brothers.
Good taste.
About whom I had written in my book, Movie Comedy Teams. So we had a fairly brief but pleasant conversation about the glories of Harry Ritz. And I wish, wait a minute.
Who do you have? What do you have?
What's your backwards? Something is.
Oh, I don't think it's backwards. I think it's, so I've told you, Instagram only works on a phone. So that's how we stream to Instagram. Twitter only works on an iPad or a phone. So we use an iPad to get onto Twitter. Facebook and YouTube allow you to use something called Restream, where you can just use one computer and it simultaneously broadcasts to Facebook and to YouTube. So we're not flipped around, but I guess some stuff is backwards. Nothing has changed. Everything we're doing is the same.
Never mind.
But it is what it is. So I don't know if stuff is backwards, but whoops. Technology, right? I mean, so you had a nice conversation with her.
That's it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. There isn't more to tell. I really am sorry. There isn't more to tell. I have friends, colleagues who were much closer to her, part of her circle.
I've heard good things too. I know that she was let's call it feisty. Some people will say she was quite feisty. But I think that to a degree, doing the job she did at the time she did it, she probably had to be that way to get where she got.
Well, yes.
And
she, and I'm not going to open the can of worms that is her famous essay on Citizen Kane, where she decided that Orson Welles was getting too much credit.
Yeah. And
Herman J. Mankiewicz not enough credit. And as a generalization, that's probably true, but things happened after that essay was printed.
Yeah, they felt like that. Things happened. Timothy says he's just joining the conversation because he was finishing the film The Forgotten Battle, and it was tremendous.
Good.
Well, I'm so glad. Yeah, there are some movies that come on. It's funny for us. Obviously, my parents usually have TCM on. That's sort of the thing that exists at all times in the house. And so when Daisy and I go up there, when my daughter and I go upstairs to see my parents, any number of things can be on. The problem is Daisy doesn't tend to like to watch much TCM. Because it's generally relatively quiet, all things considered. And there's not a lot of color. So so almost immediately you guys have to turn off whatever it is that you're watching to then turn something on that will keep Daisy occupied. And man, we are getting real good at singing The Wheels on the Bus and a whole heap of other songs.
can't get it out of my
I
head
know.
now. Some of those songs.
We walk around singing them. It's
Oh goodness.
I can do all the hand motions to every child song that
Baby Beluga.
I never knew I
Anyway.
knew. It's all just in there somewhere. Oh,
News this week.
yes.
Things have
Yes.
come up this week.
Yes.
The
No, we didn't watch the Carol Burnett birthday special. Go on.
No. Although I will tell this briefly. When I was in the 6th grade, still doing the Bergen Bulletin with or was I already on Profile? No, I think it was
in Teaneck, New Jersey.
Teaneck, New Jersey.
Yes.
I wrote to Carol Burnett and asked about doing an interview.
Uh-huh.
And she wrote back, or I think her assistant wrote back and said she doesn't have time, but if you ask her some questions, she'll try to answer them for you. And so
she's very thoughtful.
So she wrote back again, and answered my few simple, kind of dumb questions.
More than many would do.
She said, I don't sing more because it gives me a headache.
That's solid information.
Yeah. Anyway, if she seems like a nice woman, it's because she is a nice woman.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Craig says, as a musical theater nut and longtime fan, I love the John Pizzarelli show.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Honeymoon in Vegas was a wonderful musical comedy. It should have been a hit. I love Betsy was Sondheim's favorite Jason Robert Brown song. It was so much fun talking to John Pizzarelli. The newest episode of our podcast is up, and it's with John Pizzarelli. And if you don't know who he is, his dad was a jazz legend, Bucky Pizzarelli. And he isn't doing too bad for himself either.
No, he just celebrated 40 years since his first album.
And
I have that on vinyl as an album.
And his wife
Jessica
is one of your favorite jazz singers.
She's really a Broadway.
Yeah, I was going to say, I say it. It's yes. So we just had him on the show, and it's so much fun. And we get to just be nerdy about music, which is the other very big passion in this household.
Yes. It was a somewhat self-indulgent episode, but too bad if you didn't like it.
No, but this is the thing, though. It's our show.
It is our show.
We don't have to justify any guest to anyone.
No, we don't.
We can have whoever it is that we like on the damn show, and it's fun. It's true, though. I mean, really, it's conversations with anybody that we find interesting.
Yep.
And if you are a music person, especially, this was such a fun episode. It's so much fun to talk to people who, as I say, this is sort of, again, I went to school for music. Music is just about my favorite thing. And it's the one fun thing about Daisy, my daughter, loving music so much is that we're singing all the time. And it's nice for me to get to be singing more and singing with her. And she thinks it's so much fun. And she likes that I can make my voice do different things. And she's fast. We'll sit sometimes and just kind of play around. And I can tell that she's trying to do it. So yeah, I have a little musical baby on my hands.
We posted, or rather you posted for me yesterday, a survey of
first we posted your review of Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, which is a film that you loved.
Yes, I loved it. And then I saw it again 4 nights later with my class at USC. And I was a little nervous about that because there are roughly equal number of guys and girls in the class. And I knew that the young women had almost surely read Judy Blume at some point.
Or knew who she
was. And the guys, I didn't know what they would make of this, but I really liked it. And I could relate to the movie, not if not on a personal level, just a human level.
Yeah,
it's so good. It's so good. And Kelly Fremont Craig, I think I'm getting that right.
Maybe.
Was a guest in my class 2 weeks ago. She is a protege of James L. Brooks. They have a joint interview in the LA Times today, I believe, or possibly yesterday. It's just so good. It's so good.
Yes, Christopher. So the thing is, I used to be able to post stuff about Christopher saying that he wishes that on our Patreon we posted the guest, that we could post a photo with it. The first part of that is that it's actually our engineer who posts those to Patreon. So he would have to do it, and bless him, he sort of does enough already. But also, I used to be able to create graphics that I would use for our podcast and everything, and do many other things. And now, again, with Daisy, I just kind of can't. So it frustrates me that I can't do more, because I wish I could be doing more.
Right.
Simultaneously, the very small human that runs my life does not agree and does not want me to do more than simply play with her.
But Jesse did manage to post yesterday a piece that I encourage you to look at leonardmaltin.com. Of course, I encourage you to go there all the time. Of what, 5 books?
4 books and 1 DVD.
4 books and 1 DVD/Blu-ray. And they're all the result of someone's obsession. In each case, and I know all the authors and the guy who was the driving force behind the DVD Blu-ray.
Mm-hmm.
So they're all old. They're all friends to some degree or other, old friends. So I know whereof I speak. These are obsessives who have managed to turn their obsessions into scholarship, useful scholarship. And so they are, in no particular order, we'll do the DVD Blu-ray first. Scott McQueen, a master film preservationist and restorer who worked for many years for the Walt Disney Company and did great work there. Disney, for instance, owns the David O. Selznick Library. So he got to work on, excepting Gone with the Wind, but he got to work on all the other films that they owned there, as well as the Disney classics. And then he went to UCLA. UCLA Film and Television Archive, and was there for many, many years and did extraordinary work there. And all through this, he was hoping that someday he'd get to work on the 1953 sci-fi movie Invaders from Mars. And this is a film, if you see this film when you're a kid, you never forget it, because the basis of it is that one night you wake up in the middle, you're a kid, you wake up in the middle of the night, you look out your bedroom window, and a flying saucer has just landed. And the next morning when you wake up, your parents are robotic. They've been overtaken by aliens. I mean, that's nightmare stuff. That is nightmare fodder. And it's really well done. It's directed by William Cameron Menzies, the great production designer. Scott, and it was shot in Cinecolor or Super Cinecolor. Scott went back to the original matrices, and it's all described in the bonus features and the booklet where he wrote a great essay. Get it, read it, watch it, all of that. Invaders from Mars, from a company called Ignite Films.
Yep.
And I have a link on my...
It's all linked. All the books and all, and the DVD, everything is linked.
You say you like Soundies, the 3-minute musical shorts that were done in the 1940s for the video jukebox, as we call it now. Well, anything you want to know about Soundies is in Mark Cantor's book. And Mark Cantor's been working on this book for decades. And it's the size of 2 city telephone directories. Is quite large. The word is exhaustive and definitive. Exhaustive. Let's see what
can you tell he's excited about these things?
The book that I literally couldn't lift up was Gary Lesson's new book, A Farce.
A Tour de Farce.
Tour de Farce.
Tour de Farce.
Published by the Stoogium.
You know, the Stoogium.
Being the Three Stooges Museum.
Where you have been.
Where I have been, outside of Philadelphia. This is a book that traces all of their stage appearances. All of their stage appearances.
Because you know what we all needed? A book about all the Three Stooges stage appearances.
You got that right. What's wonderful, the ads, the old newspaper ads for who else was on the bill with them.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
As I say, can you tell he's excited about this? Yes.
I just loved it. And it included, I'm in the book mentioned once because I attended a live personal appearance by the Stooges in Hackensack, New Jersey at the now demolished Oratani Theater when they were out on the road promoting the Three Stooges, I think, Meet Hercules. I have to check that. But anyway, I just love the photos, the ads in this book. Tour de farce.
Tour de farce.
Go to my website. There's a link.
If you go to leonardmaltin.com, you'll see it's a big old book piece.
And then Robert Bader, who wrote a great book and researched madly for years, a great book about the Marx Brothers stage career. They were show business veterans by the time they made their first movie. I mean, movies were kind of like an afterthought almost in the grand scheme of things. Wow. Great book. Very dense, a lot to take in, but this is the revised edition.
If you thought it was dense before, no.
It's from Northwestern University Press, and it's a quality paperback that again is heavy.
Is that the theme of these books in this particular?
Not in the cosmic sense, but in the literal sense.
Heavy. Any upcoming book projects or pieces you'll be contributing to that you can speak on, Leonard? The first film book I ever read was the Disney films. It launched a lifelong love of reading film books. Well, that is wonderful.
That's a great compliment. Thank you very much.
I read that now just because this is some of what we're talking about. And you wrote one of the forwards for Mark Cantor's book. So that's something that has come out that he's a part of. You've been working for months on a Warner Brothers project that will be happening. It will be appearing on your television soon. And I don't think you can talk too much about that outside of just
actually,
that it exists.
Not at all.
I'm just saying it exists.
Yeah.
You can say it exists.
Well, there's a little asterisk, which is that apparently last week in the Hollywood Reporter and Variety,
oh God. Well, yeah, that's a bit of a
both marking the 100th anniversary of Warner Brothers, now Warner Brothers Discovery, as we know. They had a picture of Jack Warner. But not Jack L. Warner.
Just Jack
Warner. The one who was one of the Warner Brothers.
The other one.
But the British actor of the 50s and 60s, also named Jack, no middle name, Warner.
And nobody checked it. And nobody caught it. Except for my dad and all of his friends who went, what? my friend, the British-born friend, Arnold Schwartzman, is the one who caught that because as a Brit, he knew Jack Warner, the actor Jack Warner really well. Yeah. But talk about a whoopsie daisy.
Yeah.
This is why you need to check your work, isn't it? No, Lynn, I haven't seen the new Judy Blume doc. If you haven't seen it,
no, I haven't seen the
no, but I'm really looking forward to it. A friend of mine is one of the publicists on it, and I'm very, very, very excited to see it. Ludwig is asking about John Lasseter. He says John Lasseter is one of the greatest artists of the last 40 years. How do you rate his previous work at Skydance, and do you see a chance that he will eventually return to Disney? I don't think he'll return to Disney just because it would cause more of a headache than anybody's really willing to deal with. But at the same time, you can't knock everything the man has done. I mean, oh my God, the amount of stuff, the movies and things that completely changed animation for a generation.
He was and remains a visionary.
Yeah, 100%.
A storyteller par excellence.
Yep.
Wonderful imagination, wonderful, bursting with creativity.
Yeah.
And
someone
and a human being with flaws.
Yeah, but he deeply loves all of this. He deeply loves all of this.
Yeah.
And the time we've gotten to spend with him over the years, man, it's a gift. It really has been a gift. You guys have been friendly, not friends, but friendly for a long time.
Long time.
And I've known him for years. And he just, he deserves, people should remember all of the things that he's done. And if you want to talk about whatever he got in trouble for, that's one thing, but you can't remove what he has done. And what I think he'll continue to do, we just have to see sort of where. Because a lot of people don't want to deal with it, which I understand, but whatever. Trevor, when I tell you, Trevor says Miss Rachel needs to lay off the icky, sticky bubblegum song. Trevor, that song right now is the bane of my existence. I can't, I've gotten to a point where when it comes on, I might punch a wall. I've just heard it too many times. I just can't. I can't do it anymore. But Daisy loves it. So I sit there and I sing Icky, Sticky, Sticky, Sticky Bubblegum so many times a day to the point where I just want to jump off a bridge. Curious, do you think there's a hairstyle that ruins a performance? I feel that way about Stanwyck and Double Indemnity. Absolutely.
Billy Wilder, midway through shooting that movie, said that wig is terrible.
If Billy Wilder knew.
But they'd already shot like 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
What are you going to do? No, there's tons of that. I mean, it's the same thing with bad prosthetics.
That the movie is so great, in spite of
the wig,
is a tribute to the quality of that film.
Man.
So yeah, it is possible.
But there's lots. I mean, as I say, if someone's makeup is off,
there's a great letter to Jack Warner in Rudy Belmer's book, Inside Warner Brothers, which is full of memorandums and memoranda and letters and telegrams. They're on location shooting The Adventures of Robin Hood, and Errol Flynn writes a pleading letter to Jack L. Warner, saying this wig
that's amazing.
It's not right. I feel foolish. I think I look foolish, and they adjusted it.
No, I'm a big one for that because I love makeup and hair and things like that. I hate when you can tell it's a wig. I hate when the makeup is done in a way that doesn't look right. I forget. It's a movie. It's an older movie. It's been a long time, but I was reviewing some terrible movie for you, and I went to the AMC in Burbank, and all I could stare at was Leslie Mann was it. It's Leslie Mann and Owen Wilson. Hall Pass. It's called Hall Pass. I had to review that for you because you hate me, and I had to review that film. They were all orange in that movie. I don't know what happened, and I don't know how nobody fixed it, but everybody was orange, and it wasn't because the coloring was off. Their makeup was terrible. I had this also with the show 911 that's on Fox, which is a kind of ridiculous show, but I enjoy it. For some reason, Jennifer Love Hewitt on that show was orange. They make her orange, and several other cast members have this too. And the worst part is when that line is when the makeup line ends here and it's two different colors. I don't get it. I really don't.
The book we didn't mention was The Complete Beau Geste, self-published by Frank Thompson, another old friend who has been obsessed with Beau Geste for many years. This book is the result.
Man.
And worth looking at.
Oh, were you a fan of Barry Humphries or Dame Edna? Of course.
Yes.
How could you not be? They're fantastic.
The first and only time I saw her in person was at the now demolished Music Center.
Yeah.
Here in Los Angeles. The only major city to tear down not just an entire building, but a first class.
Yeah, one of the best.
Working theater, legit theater.
Geniuses.
Anyway. It was the Schubert Theater, and we saw Dame Edna, and I was just glad we were sitting so far back that she couldn't even inadvertently pick on
you. Yeah. Oh man, so smart, so clever, both as Barry and as Dame Edna.
Yeah,
I mean to be yourself that funny, and then to have this persona, that's just hilarious, and as bad as terrible as the jokes can be, also just so smart. Smart.
Yeah.
So yes, I was really sad. We all were. We were really sad to see that Barry Humphries passed away. What a legend.
The blow was softened only slightly by knowing that he didn't have a lingering illness. And
of course. Did you ever interview Harry Belafonte?
No. I interviewed. I met him and shook his hand and told him what a lifelong admirer I was. And he was very gracious. That was at the dinner for the Governor's Awards when his pal, Sidney Poitier, was given that award. But many years earlier for Entertainment Tonight, I was doing a story about dubbing. And I had our New York office talk to him about his dubbed voice in Carmen Jones. And he said it was a source of great amusement to his children.
Yes.
That this great operatic voice came out when he was singing
Of
in
his
that
mouth.
movie. Yeah.
Yes. We met him at an event or something, and he was as graceful, sort of like, if you've ever seen Sidney Poitier in person, he is exactly as elegant as you would expect. He carries himself
Oh, yeah.
beautifully. And Harry Belafonte was the same. They carried themselves just beautifully. So much elegance in how they move and the way they speak to people.
Yeah.
It's really something to see it in person.
I was so glad just to shake his hand. I really was.
Absolutely.
I really was.
Please.
The New Yorker reprinted, I get their daily email blasts.
Yeah.
I almost wish I didn't, because they're so full
Depressing?
of good. No, they're so full of great stuff that
Yeah.
not enough time to read it all.
Yeah.
But they reprinted Henry Louis Gates' profile of Belafonte from 1996. And it really, if you can find it online, it's well worth reading.
Good.
Really, really good.
Man, a quick note to say that one of the highlights for me at the recent TCM Film Fest was getting to say hello to Leonard and tell him how much I enjoyed his and Jesse's Sunday shows. Hi, Leonard.
That's great.
That's so sweet. We got to meet a whole bunch of you guys, which was so much fun. Again, I was chasing after Daisy, of course, which, oh my God, I think that child must have had more selfies than anybody else. It was so funny. Everybody kept coming over to me asking if they could take selfies with Daisy. And I was like, go for it. Enjoy yourselves. She thought it was fun. So by all means. But yeah, we got to meet so many of you. It was lovely. It really, really was. And it was a great festival.
Because we sit here in our living room.
Yeah.
Doing this little spiel every week, and we enjoy doing it.
Yeah, Frank, you do need to come to TCM one year. Yeah. It's so much. It really is a lot of fun.
And as you can tell, we can read your tweets, and your responses, which is great. But we're not actually talking to you, having a two-way real life conversation.
Yeah.
So the fact that some of you are in Florida or Connecticut
or Brazil
or Dubai.
It's wild.
It's
really wild.
Kind of mind blowing.
Hello, Jesse. I saw your conversation with Gala and Roger Avery. Great job on YouTube. What is your impression of the Averys, and do you know the podcast they do with Tarantino? Where do you? I know.
SAG.
Well, that's what I figured. It must have been for SAG. Everybody that I've interviewed for SAG has brought me in to do some of the interviews that they have after screenings at their big offices on Wilshire. And it's been so much fun. It's such a pleasure to get to do it. And everybody that I met there has been really, really nice. I've been very lucky. And yeah, they were lovely. They could not have been nicer. I felt very, very grateful. As I say, anytime you get to interview people and you have a good time, and the audiences at SAG are very funny. Doing the interviews at SAG is hilarious because everybody sitting in the audience is an actor. So the questions they ask, some of them just get hilarious. And some of them are also very like, and when will you cast me in your next film? Which it's fun. Do you have any memories to share about Joe Ranft?
No, I don't. I never really got to know Joe.
I think Howard was posting about him.
Oh.
I think Howard was one of our friends was posting about him.
All I know is that he was a big talent who died much too young in a terrible, terrible car accident.
Do you guys have any stories from the TCM Film Festival? I watched all the interviews and the tribute to Donald Bogle on TCM's YouTube page. Yeah, as I say, TCM, we always have a lot of fun. And to be honest with you, for me, it's not seeing the movies. It really is getting to meet everybody. That's always a blast. It was very funny. So the red carpet, opening night red carpet on Thursday, it had just started to rain a little bit. And Angelino's in the rain is just funny because everybody's like, and mind you, it was sprinkling. It wasn't raining. But people looked like the sky was falling and we were all going to die.
Well, it did land droplets on camera lenses.
No. It's frustrating. It could have just been so much worse. That's why.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there were several amusing moments. One is when you turn and you see Richard Dreyfuss, who's so tiny. He's so tiny.
That's good. Chasing Miss Daisy.
Yeah. Oh, Chasing Miss Daisy is the story of my life, Stephen. But yeah, I mean, seeing Richard Dreyfuss there, that was a trip. Amy, what's her name?
Amy Irving.
Amy Irving, got to see her. She looked beautiful. a whole bunch of people. And then as we were getting to the end of the carpet, my dad has to go to class. I turn and we saw Steven Spielberg and David Zaslav, who I thought might get spitballed. If you don't know why, that's okay. And if you do, you understand why I thought he might get spitballed. But seeing Steven Spielberg at any event is always a bit of a trip because it's like, hey, that's Steven Spielberg. So that was really fun. And opening night movie went really well. So we didn't get to stay for it. You had class and I had a baby.
Frustrating.
But it was a lot of fun. And you and Mommy did get to some screenings.
Yes.
And people loved the movie that you showed. They really enjoyed that.
A moment of real satisfaction.
Yeah.
And Charlie Tabish, God bless Charlie.
Who's in unison.
Head of programming at TCM, asked me if I had any suggestions, as he does every year.
Yep.
And I said, well, reaching into my William K. Everson bag of tricks, Bill Everson singled out one Warner Brothers British movie. They had a studio called Teddington Studios in the 30s where they made quota quickies.
And I've made you tell the story of quota quickies before, but basically it is exactly what it is, which is you had to get it done.
They had to spend a certain amount of money every year in production in England. And this led to some good movies and a lot of not good movies. But this one was a little gem called Mr. Cohen Takes a Walk, which I think for television was retitled Father Takes a Walk. That's what it says on the title card. And it's on Watch TCM.
If you can get it to work. Sorry.
I got it to work. Finally.
Thank God. That was...
Anyway, if you have Watch TCM and you want to see a little sleeper from the 30s, just bursting with charm, then watch Mr. Cohen Takes a Walk, aka Father Takes a Walk. I was so thrilled to be there, not only to introduce it, but to watch it with an audience and see them be overtaken with the surprise.
Yes.
A film they've never heard of, they've never seen before. They're taking me at my word that it's worth coming to see.
Yep.
And then it plays so well.
You guys had so much fun.
Yep.
You really, really did. One of my highlights was we were in the green room upstairs. So I kept taking Daisy up to the green room because that was where she could run free without getting in trouble and without going out a door somewhere. And she was, my child is very funny. She's a funny, small child. She was running back and forth. Well, she decided that Danny Houston was her new best friend. And let's be honest, kid has good taste, right? Kid has good taste. She went right up to Danny Houston, hugged his legs, sat with him, was talking to him. I talked to Danny and his wife. We interviewed Danny several years ago on the podcast, and he's fantastic. If I can recommend any episode to you, listen to that. He is fascinating, and there too loves his family and loves talking about the history.
Yes.
And he was there for a lot. He got to meet a lot of people, and he was there for a lot.
And he does a dead-on impression of his father. Just perfect.
But yeah, that was hilarious. Daisy went right, and I said, "See, she's got a thing for British people, just like her mother does. She likes British men." Oh God, that was so funny. She just went right over. And the same thing. The Westmores.
Yes,
you got to interview Michael Westmore of the famous family of Westmores. And there too, went right over to Michael Westmore. Kid doesn't care.
Oscar and Emmy winner.
Kid goes right over. Oh Jesus. There's so many funny things. We were, opening night early in the day is when Bruce does his.
Bruce Goldstein of Film Farm in New York.
Does a trivia that is intense. And we were sitting with Suzanne Lloyd, who's Harold Lloyd's granddaughter. And we've known Sue forever. And Sue was just helping me try to stop Daisy from running around the Blossom Room because she was ready to go. And the second I could let Daisy run, that's when all the selfies started. Everybody taking pictures with Daisy, which, as I say, as she gets older, she may like it less and we'll stop it then. But for now, she's like, yeah, I'll take a picture with you, complete stranger. I'll give you a hug. Sure. And why should I stop that? Just let's get through some of your questions here. Larry Smith. Hi, Larry. He says he hopes you're on the mend and out of pain. His question is, TCM is doing a tribute to William Powell, one of his favorite actors, but there's a film of his I have never seen, Escapade, 1935, a remake of one of my favorite Austrian films, Masquerade in Vienna. Have you ever seen Escapade? And if so, what did you think of it?
I have seen Escapade. I think it was Bill Everson's print.
Probably.
That may have been borrowed by Cinefest in Syracuse, New York. It's good. It's a good movie. Like the original was good.
Yeah.
They copied it and they copied it well. The original is always better, but yeah.
Yeah. It's a quiet dig. The original is always better. Do you have a favorite Muppet movie?
The first one.
Thank you. Do you know,
actually, I love Muppet Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
I'm very fond of that.
We also are still really sad that Disney World no longer has that Muppet.
Oh, Muppet 3D attraction.
Muppet 3D. That was brilliant. That was absolutely brilliant.
Really
and
fun.
So much fun. Matt says, has any Oscar-winning performance ever mystified you? Sure. He's saying for him, as wonderful as Jason Robards is in All the President's Men for 1976, I cannot understand why he won a consecutive trophy for Julia the following year, especially over Alec Guinness or Peter Firth. He had little screen time and no really standout dialogue moments as Dashiell Hammett. It's a head scratcher. Is there anybody that you think of?
Not offhand. I don't have a ready answer for you.
Yeah.
So rather than
I don't know surprise so much as that, yeah, sometimes it is wild when someone wins an award for a very short time on screen.
Like Beatrice Straight, as William Holden's wife.
Didn't Judi Dench get it for one of the Queens where she was on for like 7 minutes? Something like that.
Shakespeare in Love.
Yeah, there you go. I'd say one of the Queenses. I wasn't saying it was the Queen movie, but it was one of the Queenses. She's always playing some Queenses. But yeah, Alan Rickman. I love Alan Rickman all day and for the rest of my life. I will tell you that, Victoria. I adore Alan Rickman. I still refuse to believe that he died. Yeah, I don't know any off him, but there are some where you sort of go, really? Over such and such? But, it is what it is. Craig Stiles says John Mills winning for Ryan's Daughter was a mistake.
Yes. John Mills gave many fine performances. That was not one of them. To play a mute hunchback, and you'd think that the actors branch would not be suckered by something so extreme as that.
Yeah.
But no. Just as they gave, after 7 nominations, they gave Al Pacino the Oscar for Scent of a Woman, where he is so broad.
Yeah.
And
sometimes I think, and we all know this, sometimes they give the award more for sort of all of their work as opposed to the thing.
Yeah,
exactly. Victoria says a career award. Yes, exactly. It's a career award sometimes. And that's okay. There are worse things. And I think the hope we all feel is that if a younger actor or actress didn't win, at least that, they have more chances. I think that's how everybody kind of looks at it.
Hindsight being 2020, it's easy to look back and say, how could they have not given it to Al Pacino the year of that film or that film or that film? But then he was against Gregory Peck for To Kill a Mockingbird. Yeah. He was opposite, that kind of thing. Paul Newman also.
Yeah.
The Color of Money, is that the Paul Newman film that you really would associate with the Academy Award? I don't think so.
It's
not a bad movie at all.
No, but it's tricky. Quentin Decker says, hope your recovery turns out well. Thank you.
Thank you.
My question is about going to the movies when you were young. What would you have seen if you stayed for the whole evening?
Well, when I went with my family, I remember going to Englewood, a town next to Teaneck, to the Plaza Theater, now demolished also. And I don't know why I remembered that I saw this film called Wake Me When It's Over, a film of no consequence whatsoever from about 1960, 61.
Mm-hmm.
they didn't look at the newspaper, remember newspapers, to see what time the show began. We arrived,
Right.
came in, took our seats, and watched the second half of that movie from where we came in. Then we would see a travelogue, a cartoon. By that time, the cartoons weren't very good, but it was a cartoon, and a newsreel, which also wasn't very good by that time because there was no news
Yeah.
in the newsreel. It's a longer story than I have time to tell. And then we'd see some coming attractions, previews of coming attractions, and then a second feature, which I don't remember. I should go to newspapers.com and find out what that second feature was. We'd sit through the second feature, and then Wake Me When It's Over would start, again. And at a certain point, my mother or father would say, "This is where we came in," and we'd all stand up and exit. And if you think this is unique to me, no, because two people, including the aforementioned Peter Bogdanovich and Martin Scorsese, both have the exact same memory. It was the generational thing.
Wow.
So that's what the movie show would consist of when it was a double feature. Now, on the other hand, when I was 12,
is Buddy a movie buff?
He's not a movie buff.
Yeah, but I mean, but he didn't go half as much. I'm asking about his brother.
So, when I was 12, I went to the Teaneck Theater on Cedar Lane, which is still not demolished. It's a multiplex, to see Dr. Strangelove, a rather mature film for me to see at age 12.
Yeah,
but I got it, and I liked it. But it was preceded by a 3-minute animated short called The Critic, directed by Ernie Pintoff and voiced by Mel Brooks. It's side-splittingly funny. And it made such an impression that I sat through Dr. Strangelove a second time in order to see The Critic again.
That's so funny.
And it was worth, and of course, seeing Dr. Strangelove a second time was no chore, because it's such a great film, and Peter Sellers is so incredibly brilliant in it. But The Critic, I had to see it again.
I love it. Jerry's asking if you ever met any of the Stooges.
No, but I had some correspondence with Mo Howard, who was very kind. When I was doing a special issue about Charlie Chase, who directed the Stooges several times in the late 30s, he hand wrote his recollections of working with Charlie Chase, and said he said he was impressed that a young man. I told him how old I was.
Right. Yeah.
A young man, a boy of my age would be interested in Charlie Chase.
He didn't know you were secretly 1,000 already.
Yeah.
I get it. Jim says so I asked folks what they're looking forward to.
Yeah.
That's coming out. Jim says he's looking forward to the new Indiana Jones and the Bradley Cooper biopic of Leonard Bernstein. My friend worked on that. Stein, sorry. My friend worked on that, and she was really pleased with how it was looking. So my fingers are crossed as well. Just saw that it's Eve Arden's birthday. Most younger folks know her from Grease. I think her greatest movie work may be in Mildred Pierce. Any of her other films that you'd recommend?
Stage Door.
There you go. I hope you let folks know that the 1925 silent version of Stella Dallas will be available on demand for 72 hours, beginning at 7 p.m. EST on May 6, 2023, as a Film Foundation film restoration screening room presentation. Say that 5 times fast. My favorite and Alice's favorite actors together 12 years before Prisoner of Zenda. This is Jenny Paxson.
Yep.
Score by Stephen Horn that was orchestrated and conducted by Ben Palmer and recorded live at the Venice Film Festival. All you have to do is register in advance here at the Film Foundation, Stella Dallas.
Look up Film Foundation.
Wow.
Look up Film Foundation, Google Film Foundation, then put in Stella Dallas.
Yeah.
And next weekend, that'd be, they're doing classics every month, restored films. They have paid various archives to restore, and now they're making them available free of charge online. It's a wonderful program.
Mm.
And Cell to Dallas is a really good silent tearjerker directed by Henry King, one of his best films.
And there you go. It's good to know. Maria is saying she's looking forward to seeing Peter Pan and Wendy on Disney Plus, and All the Light We Cannot See when it's released on Netflix. Yeah, those. You know, you do wonder, sort of, do we need another Peter Pan? Did anybody ask for that anywhere at all? But I guess you know, if you're gonna do it, I hope it's good. I hope it's cute. I hope kids like it. They did do the thing where they've got it's a bit of colorblind casting, and so you have a little bit of everything, which is good. Kids should see that. But yeah, I'm wondering. Arthur's saying he just DVR'd their Max Steiner documentary. Do you have a favorite film composer?
Hard to just name one.
Yeah.
I love all the classic guys: Max Steiner, Eric Wolfgang Korngold, Bernard Herrmann, et al. My favorite unsung, no pun intended, composer of that era is Victor Young. I don't think he gets enough attention. And Alfred Newman, genius.
You know, it's amazing. The ones that I think that what are the things that play in your head? That's kind of what I look at. And look, it's a huge part of why someone like John Williams will be a part of all of our lives, even when he stops, you know, scoring films and all the rest of it, because all you have to do is hear one or two notes and you know what it is. How many film composers have had that in their lifetime where they can go, yeah, that's me. Hear those 5 notes? That's me. You hear this? That's me. And because he's had such a long career where he's been composing, I mean, has he hit some sort of record for decades of scoring films?
He's broken every record.
Yeah. Doesn't he have the most Oscars? He's one of those. He's got like 7 million Grammy nominations.
It was Walt Disney,
something
and
like
Edith
that.
Head.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You know, it's amazing with music that all you have to do is hear a little bit. I was thinking about my husband loves all the Harry Potters and was watching one the other day, and I thought, geez, there's so many music cues in Harry Potter that you recognize, even if you don't know you recognize it. Yeah, it's just kind of mind blowing at times. You think about the reaction. Sean says he hopes you're feeling better.
Thank you.
Did you see the Fathom event of the stage production of Miyazaki's Spirited Away? I saw it with my daughter and some friends, and we were really impressed with the puppetry, acting, and dynamic set.
Oh, I'm glad.
His stuff, I mean, that's a great, if you're going to put something to stage, that makes a lot of sense because his stuff is so whimsical. You can play with it.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like, have you guys seen the new posters that have gone up for the new Little Mermaid movie of like Flounder? Have you seen these? They're terrifying. They're terrifying. Flounder, because this is what I thought when they said they're going to make a live action Little Mermaid, which again, did anyone ask for this? Did anyone anywhere ask for this? I hope not. But I kept thinking, what are you going to do with all the sea creatures? You know, it's weird enough the way they made Ariel look. And I don't mean the casting. I mean, like just when she's swimming, I've seen some of these shots of her in the water. It looks odd. But then they got Flounder's an actual fish. And I'm just very confused. I'm very confused, my friends. I don't know what to think of this. I do know what I think of it, but I want to at least give it a shot. I want to not judge it till it comes out. And then I'm going to judge it a lot. But yeah, I don't know what you're meant to do. Why? As I say, Miyazaki's perfect for that. It's perfect for that because it's whimsy and it's fairy tale and the way things look. You could do some beautiful things with a stage production of that. Even as I'm saying that, you know, because of someone like Julie Taymor, we have ways of doing, you know, at Disney World, you've got the Finding Nemo musical and stuff like that. You know, because on stage again, you can, but this with the
beauty of theater is that you can use your imagination. You can use your imagination. It can do things that films cannot.
Yeah.
and that's why they're
Yeah.
never the twain should meet. I think at times.
Yeah. Yeah, Ryan is saying, I still agree with what you said about the remake of Dumbo. Why waste so much money and talent on a film that is foredoomed to take second place to a classic? Well, yeah, I mean, again, this is the thing. At least with the Mary Poppins Returns movie, they attempted to make it different. It's not that different. They sort of took all the songs and just it sounds like someone like bumped into them and went, it's almost Spoonful of Sugar. It's almost, but it's fine. Like we watched
Well
it.
done.
It's fine. Kids will like it. Emily Blunt is wonderful. It's fine. But these weirdo live action right now, they're doing Lilo and Stitch. Dean Fleischer Camp is directing it. And I love him. He just did Marcel the Shell with Shoes On. But I just don't understand why you want live action animated. I really don't. If you want to change it up, I don't even know what, do something else. Or maybe just, I don't know, have a new idea. There's the thought. Come up with something else. Literally anything else. I'll take almost anything over what we're getting at the moment with this kind of stuff. I don't get it. I don't understand. A lot of people are excited about Indiana Jones, the next one.
Yes, of course.
And that's
gonna debut at the Cannes Film Festival in May.
Yeah. Oh, that'll be
well. Tomorrow's May 1st.
Oh, it is.
My goodness, how'd that happen?
Yowza.
How did that happen?
Yeah.
May 1st. Well, later this month, Indiana Jones will debut, and so will Martin Scorsese's new film.
Yes.
At 3 hours and 20 minutes.
Sure. What's his name just posted? Zachary Levi just posted. I didn't know that there's going to be a new Chicken Run. It doesn't say when it's going to come out because I guess it's in post-production, but I'm excited about that because we love Chicken Run. It's such a wonderful, all that kind of, I love Aardman and all the Aardman-esque stuff. That's a lot of fun. Are you interested in the new French Three Musketeers? Sure. There's another one. You know what we don't have enough of? Three Musketeers.
All right, we binged. My wife and I binged the new Netflix series, The Diplomat.
Yeah.
With Kerry Russell and
Rufus
Sewell and Rory Kinnear. I really liked it a lot. I know you didn't, but
no, I watched the first episode and it just didn't pull me in, but I'm going to keep trying it.
We really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And it ends with a big cliffhanger. A big cliffhanger.
Better than a small cliffhanger.
So then last night we were wanting something else. And so we started watching another new Netflix series, a British one. Well, the other one's British too, called Treason, with Kieran Hines, Charlie Cox, Una Chaplin, and I'm forgetting someone else. And
the other guy.
And anyhow, watched first 2 episodes. Some plot holes, some logical things, story points.
Are you interested in Disney's next film, Wish? Again, yeah. I'll watch. We'll watch it. Yeah. Look, as I say, I feel like if you are creative and have something to share, bring it on. Why do I love Marcel the Shell with Shoes On so much? Because it's different and it was special.
Yeah.
And
fresh, original.
Yeah. And so clever. So that's exciting. Like that's exciting to watch something like that.
Yeah.
We discover a new director. That's exciting. The way you felt watching Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. And in your review, you said, you're not its target audience.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter if a movie's great. That's the thing. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who it's meant for if a movie is really good, because you're just going to enjoy it. Again, this is, I'm having the experience you had, which is I'm starting to show Daisy some movies. And while, again, she's so little, she doesn't really know. But it adds to my admiration when I see, oh, that's really sweet. I'm happy she's going to see that. I'm happy she's going to get that kind of a little lesson. Or wow, that music's really fun. She's going to enjoy that.
Right.
And I just appreciate anybody who's clever. Again, she really loves Sing 2. We've been watching that. And the animation in that, like the way they make it look, it looks fantastic. They did a beautiful job. It's a lot of color. It's a bombardment of color. But it's clever. And you guys watched a little bit of it with me the other day, and you could see just the animation of it.
Well,
It's neat.
I keep forgetting the guy's name, which is insulting. I really have to memorize it.
Yeah.
But Illumination's
Illumination
production designer is also the character designer.
Yes.
And he is.
Let me see.
He's outstanding talent.
Yeah. It's let's see. 1 second, please. Is Garth Jennings? Is that who you're thinking of? Or no, he's the director. 1 second. Come back. Production designer. Eric.
Yes.
Him?
Eric Guillaume.
Okay. Yeah, there's, and they say talented people, gotta love them. Even, I mean, look, again, I've been enjoying watching the Despicable Me's with her and the Minions, because kids love Minions. They're so much fun. It's fun. It's a fun thing to watch. Okay, last question, because then we have to let you guys go. Do you think there will be any theaters 5 years from now? And I'm choosing this one on purpose. Yes.
Yes.
The reality is this. Some people do not love going to the movies, and that's okay. Some people show up Thursday night, because now that's really when things premiere. And usually at 7 p.m. it'll be one of the first showings, and it's packed. I did this with one of the last Mission Impossibles. My husband really wanted to go, and so did some of our other friends. And we went to ArcLight, and we had dinner first, and we went to ArcLight, and it was 4 of us, and we watched it, and we had so much fun. It was so much fun to see it on a big screen. It was so much fun to see it with an audience.
Movie going is a social activity.
Yeah.
It is not just the act of watching a film.
Mm-hmm.
It's a social activity, always has been. And when we get over these bumps in the road that are keeping us from gathering together with impunity and feeling comfortable again.
Daisy! I hear a Daisy.
Okay.
But that's just finish your
Yeah.
thought. That's the thing. Sitting in look, again, TCM just happened, right? Sitting in a movie theater with other people who are excited to see these movies, that is a thrill. It's a thrill. Going to the movies and going with your friends, and then going out, and then afterwards sitting and talking about them. What did you think of this film? Oh, I don't know. It's an activity, and it's fun. It's a fun thing to get to do. And while not every film needs to be on a big screen in a theater, some films are okay at home. And again, everybody has different reasons for why, if they don't want to go to a theater or they do want to go to a theater, it's completely up to you. It's your choice. But there is something fun about it. Same thing we did with It. A bunch of friends wanted to go see It when it came out, the first one, not the second one. And we went to the ArcLight at a 7 p.m. Screening was packed. People were everywhere. It's fun.
And
it's
it always will be. Always will be.
Did I see the new series Love and Death or Fatal Attraction? I saw. Yes, my husband was really into it. Come here, you. Hi. Do you want to say goodbye? Hi, gorgeous. Do you want to say goodbye? She has a bruise on her face because she walked into a table, but she's okay. Oh, and you're snotty too. That's exciting. That's exciting. My friends, thank you as always for joining us. Thank you so much for joining. Oh, look at you. Nah. Snotty baby. Snotty baby. Thank you as always for joining us, guys. We will see you next week. As always, you know where to find us. We're on all the socially places. You can send us messages there, or just when I post. Do you sing Daisy Bell, A Bicycle Built for Two? We sure do. We sing it all the time. We sing it all the time. Hi. Hi. Oh, but. Hi. Say bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now, everybody.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Be kind.
You okay? Oh, you gonna go down? Okay. You got it. You got it, baby.